former Patriot Vince Wilfork with us. Vince, thanks so much for joining us. You spent a lot of time around Bill Belichick. Amenable, probably not a word I'd always use to describe him, but are you surprised that he is pretty willing to take a look at what happened last year offensively and say, you know what, things need to change?
No, because Bill always do what's right. If he feels that if that's a problem and needs to be fixed, he'll do everything in his willpower to make the necessary changes to be successful, putting the team first. So it don't surprise me by him taking that approach at all.
Vince, a lot of us look at Bill Belichick and we see him at a podium mostly and think, that guy is just rigid and inflexible. But can he be flexible? At what times in his career in coaching, and maybe you in particular, has he, changed things around when needed?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember having a conversation with Bill as a captain one year, and I believe it was around the time we drafted Brandon Spikes in that class. And I bet, the conversation basically like, hey, coach, you can't do the same thing that you've done with us with these newer guys. You have to take a different approach. And he was all ears, and he changed some stuff around. And I think that year we went 14-2. So he's very flexible, and he's willing to do whatever he possibly can to make the team be the best he possibly can. So I witnessed that. I've been part of that witness with Bill, and he listened. So it's not like he have all the answers and he don't want to change nothing. He won't change anything if he don't think it needs fits. But he knows, just like everybody else knows, there needs to be some type of change moving forward, and he already acknowledged that. So it doesn't surprise me that he's already on it.
Yeah, is it time for a change, or would you have given Matt Patricia another chance to run this offense for one more year?
I don't know. Everybody, it's up to Bill. When I came in, Matt Patricia was already he was on the offensive side. He was actually the assistant offensive line coach with Sparnecchia. So my first encounter with him has been on the offensive side of the ball. So I know Bill would do whatever is necessary to make it run. And if that called for him moving Matty P, he would move Matty P. And Matty P is one of those coaches where he understands as well, hey, if I can't get the job done, put somebody here that can. So we can use Matty P in other areas of this team, not only on the offensive side of the ball. So I think everything's going to be okay.
Vince, in your opinion, who would be a good fit? Bill O'Brien, we've heard Cliff Kingsbury's name, Nick Caley's name has been thrown around. Who would be a good fit, in your opinion, to take over this offense?
I'm not an offensive guy. Give me somebody that can manage give me a quarterback that can manage the game and give me an offensive coordinator that's very creative and can work with what I have. So I'm not that. When you're talking offense, I don't care, because I was always told defense is out there to play to stop people from scoring. So, but I have no idea. I'll leave that up to, the higher rankings like Bill and those guys.
You're a defense wins championship guy, and you are never
Absolutely.
changing. I love it. Well, one guy that we know was great on defense, Jerod Mayo, is, of course, now one of their key defensive coaches. But he's been pretty open about, maybe looking for opportunities to be a true defensive coordinator somewhere else, or even go be a head coach somewhere else. Should the Pats go out of their way to keep Jerod Mayo at all costs? How important is he to this coaching staff?
Well, it's always good to have somebody homebred, and Jerod is one of those guys who was drafted here first round, being a captain, being a staple in this community and for this organization for so long as a player and a coach. And in business, you always want to try to keep those guys around. Also understand that it may come a time where those guys have to move on to be able to grow and fulfill their dreams as coaches. So I don't think, it's a lot of stuff that needs to happen, and I don't think Bill Belichick is surprised with anything. That's the nature of the beast when you play under a Bill Belichick football team. You have opportunities. Guys see you in different light. They see you in big games and big situations, being taught and being trained up under the best that ever do it in Bill Belichick. So you have multiple opportunities. So look, I wish Jerod Mayo nothing but the best. I think he'll be a hell of a head coach. I think he'll be a hell of a defensive coordinator, because He learned from the best, and he understands how to work a room. He understands that. So we'll see. Good luck with him. He's a good friend of mine, and I'm pretty sure I'll be talking to him soon and just, being the big brother, asking him, what are you doing? What you thinking? Try to pick his brain and everything. But I know Jerod will do what's best for Jerod and make sure his family is kept in the loop with everything as well.
Vince, what makes him such a good leader, and what makes him such a good candidate to lead a team, whether it's as a defensive coordinator or a head coach?
Because he sees things from a totally different point of view. I'm strictly, a defensive guy. I know how I would run a team if I had it, and it might not be right, but that's what I know. I think Jerod have that juice where he could touch anybody in any position because he's that smart. You have to understand Jerod Mayo, he was a middle linebacker. So a linebacker is quarterback of the defense. So he has to know everything offensively what's going on and everything defensively what's going on. And he knows that. So his background, he already has it. He played it. He's been coaching it. And he's such a people person. And he understands the game and he understands people. So that's why I see that's why you see a lot of head coaches and defensive coordinators get jobs because defensive coordinator is like a middle linebacker. You have to know what the offense is doing, the in and outs, just like your defense. So that's why I think Jerod would be a perfect fit to be a head coach and a defensive coordinator anywhere.
Yeah, and we know from what Bill Belichick said last week in the wake of what happened with Damar Hamlin that guys on the team really look up to Jerod Mayo in that locker room. And in that locker room, there's been a number of rumblings of brush fires within it. Sports Illustrated's Burt Bree, who's on our show today, said on Sunday that rookie Jack Jones, who was suspended recently, openly challenged Bill Belichick. Here is a transcript of what he said. He said, quote, "My understanding of the way that it went is Jones was late to rehab sessions. He missed rehab sessions. And I think he even talked back to Bill a little bit, to the point where Bill felt like he had to address it in a team meeting 2 Fridays ago." Vince, I'm sure you're probably a little old school, but I think it's pretty rare for a player, especially a player as young as Jack Jones, to sort of snap back at Bill Belichick. How often did guys talk back and challenge Bill Belichick? And when they did they feel his wrath?
The thing is I hate to say it, this is the type of, football we're at. These guys don't respect the game and don't respect coaches the way we used to, I never seen anybody talk back to Bill. As a leader and as a captain, of course, we have conversation of things that we might not like, but that's behind closed doors. And it's not us challenging Bill. It's us trying to get a better understanding what's going on. But as far as talking back to a coach, no, you don't do that, But this new era of football, these kids feel entitled. Starting college, you got all this mess going on in college, and you taken care as a college player, and then you get to the league. Now all of a sudden you want the same treatment, but you have to realize this shield, it ain't college. You have to prove yourself at this level, and that's one thing I love about the shield. We stand for something totally. We way above any other sport there is because you're not going to come break this shield. And it's just a respect factor, it's just a respect factor. And that's leadership. And sometimes you got to know when it's your time to get out of the game. And, Slater and Devin, they're at that point because they see a transition from when they came in as rookies, where things were, and now that they're the old heads, where things is. And at some point, you have to challenge yourself and ask yourself, do you really want to be a part of something that you're really not used to? And that's a tough decision to make, especially when you love a game like football.
All right, that's great insight. Vince Wilfork, thank you so much. Not just Super Bowl champion, but Food Network star. Exciting to see him on there today.